Got a couple things that
it doesn't lock back on an empty mag, so I wasn't thinking why. So I was like,
Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my first look at the Griffin Armament M4SDK 5.56 suppressor. This is my first suppressor. I paid for it on March 17th and I was able to pick it up on September 14th, so about 6 months passed in between when I paid for the suppressor and when I picked it up. It was an agonizing wait, but the good news for everyone is that NFA wait times are indeed dropping. The ATF did hire a new wave of examiners. The examiner who approved my tax stamp was one of the new hires. And if you file as an individual instead of filing with a trust, your wait time is probably going to be shorter than 45 days. I filed with the silencershop.com trust because at the time it looked like the smarter option, and a trust is a good investment for your future because it saves you on time in having to get the chief law enforcement officer sign off the fingerprints, the photo ID, so on and so forth. But in terms of sheer wait time, right now it's looking like filing as an individual is going to be the better option until e-forms for Form 4s come back online. So let's get into talking about the actual suppressor. Before we do that, let's make sure the host firearms are indeed clear. So yes, I've looked at the chamber on this Tavor, it's clear, and I'm gonna look at the 20-inch SPR. The 20-inch SPR is actually the same exact AR-15 that I first showed on my channel. This was my first AR-15, but it's just gone through a multitude of upgrades. So we verified the host firearms are clear. Everybody watching this video has peace of mind now. The M4SDK is the compact version of the Griffin Armament M4SD2 suppressor. It's about 3/4 of an inch shorter and about 3 ounces lighter. In terms of decibel performance, because of its shorter length, it's about 1 to 2 decibels louder than the M4SD2. That might not seem a whole lot on paper, but because of the way decibels are measured, it's on a logarithmic scale. It could be anywhere from 20 to 30% louder depending on the host firearm. So there's only so many ways you can try and contain the blast of a 55,000 psi explosion in man-portable firearms. But moving on, the mounting mechanism is idiot resistant. Nothing in firearms is idiot proof because somewhere somebody will always find a stronger idiot. So the locking latch is adjustable with one hand. So I think the way that Griffin Armament shows it is you grab your fingers like this, and then you push up on the locking tab, and then you pull this out to open it, and then you just push back in. And I'm going to demonstrate on the YHM flash hider. It is spec'd to mount to any A2 spec blank firing adapter groove, so you don't have to use a proprietary Griffin Armament mount. Griffin Armament mounts are actually cut to a tighter specification, so you'll probably get more consistent point of impact shift if you mount to a Griffin Armament suppressor mount instead of a generic A2 flash hider mount. So you just slide it over, wait until the suppressor hits the over travel stop, and now the locking latch has locked into place and you cannot rotate or wiggle the suppressor. And to remove, gosh, I'm not good at this yet, but yeah, just like that. And oh, come on, suppressor. Yeah, the tight squeeze is actually a good thing because it prevents wiggle and more consistency. So it also can mount from this side. Got to make sure that the tab actually closes over the suppressor though. So yeah, make sure that the locking latch actually closes over. You don't want it to work free and end up blowing the can off of your rifle. And this compensator is actually made by Griffin Armament, but the mounting is the exact same way. Just like that. Make sure that the latch fully clicks into place. Alright. If you order from Silencer Shop, you get some freebies. This is what the package for the suppressor looks like. And you get a Molly suppressor carrying pouch, very useful. And you get Silencer Shop stickers, a Griffin Armament patch, and a tactical suppressor removal tool. Tactical is a very important term that you always have to use when marketing any firearms related accessories. You also get the shims and the over travel washer that you mount your flash hider or your suppressor mount to. It's not a good idea to mount your suppressor mount with a crush washer because they might not crush evenly and they could cause misalignments. The over travel washer is not critical, but it is extremely helpful. So that was just a quick look. Oh, and this is what the manual for the suppressor looks like. It's mostly just don't be stupid. You know, it's a very expensive piece of equipment that you had to wait a long time for. And as I've mentioned previously, anything firearms related is idiot resistant, not idiot proof. So that's all there is for me to say in this quick look at the M4SDK suppressor. I will have more videos about the suppressor later on. I'll do some point of impact shift testing, and then I'll give my final thoughts on the suppressor. You're going to have to take it at face value because, of course, this is my first suppressor. Thank you, guys. Oh, the reason why I got a dedicated 5.56 suppressor instead of getting a 30 cal multi-cal suppressor so that I could use it on a 30 cal firearms is I wanted to play to the Tavor strengths in that its compactness, so I wanted a super compact suppressor. I mean, from this video, unless you've got something to compare it to, you're not going to be able to get a feel for just how compact this suppressor is from watching the video. But this is a super compact suppressor by suppressor standards. Most 30 cal suppressors that actually have good performance on 5.56 rifles have to be at least 7 inches long because, you know, the exit hole diameter and the diameter of the baffles board for 30 cal suppressors aren't a guarantee of good performance on 5.56. So if you take a look at this 55 grain bullet, the exit hole is probably like, I haven't measured with calipers, but it's probably like 280 diameter to allow for a little bit more wiggle room of the 224 diameter bullet to get through. But as I was mentioning, the 30 cal baffle holes and the exit hole is probably going to be something like, 350 diameter, and you're not necessarily going to get really good performance on a 30 cal suppressor that isn't at least like 7 inches long. So compact 30 cal suppressors might not work that well for 5.56 rifles. And so I was left with choosing sorry, I'm not using the good term. I chose out of a lot of competitive options the Griffin Armament M4SDK. So I'm very happy with it so far. I'm going to shoot it on my 20-inch SPR. Really like this rifle. Really like all my rifles. Trust my life with any of them. But anyways, stay tuned for more videos about this suppressor.